Rockville is our city, and it's located just outside our nation's capital. It's an international city with a small-town feel. What sets us apart is our sense of community, strong, stable neighborhoods, and a responsive and responsible city government. This is Rockville. This is where we live.
And there are a number of things I like about it. The trees were the main thing.
Stuart McKenzie of Newmark Commons is a self-professed tree lover. And he's not alone. The Newmark Commons community recently was awarded a city and state honor for their neighborhood environmental practices, including the cultivation and protection of their urban forest.
Well, someone called Francis Lethbridge actually designed it. Edmund Bennett was the developer. And it was intended at the time that there should be preservation of the trees and of the natural topography. And he preserved a lot of the trees in the original design, put the houses very carefully to preserve as many of the mature trees as possible. Not only is it necessary, though, to have a design which preserves trees, you need a maintenance procedure to protect them and to replant and replenish them.
Soon after Newmark Commons became incorporated in 1967, tree and landscape committees were formed.
The purpose of the tree committee is to grant permits. If a homeowner wishes to remove a tree or prune a tree, they make an application to the tree committee. The tree committee has a look at it. We have arborists who can advise us on this, and they either grant a permit or they don't, or they suggest alternatives. The landscape committee has a responsibility to look more broadly at the landscaping of the whole neighborhood. For example, we have to dredge this lake from time to time. The landscape committee got involved in that. One of the things that I got involved with was that we gradually losing trees. Wind, disease, lightning, simple old age. We weren't replacing them. So I went to the board and we had the community come out and do a volunteer planting. So we got about 100 trees in last fall, and basically that's what the two committees do. They nurture the trees, they nurture the landscape.
Urban forests play a very important role in the ecology of our urban environment. They help filter the air and water, moderate the local climate, and conserve energy by shading homes and businesses. Over the years, the city has worked with Newmark Commons to develop a street tree plan to replace aging trees along Newmark Esplanade. The city's horticulturalist, Rob Orndorff, has worked closely in Newmark Commons.
Newmark Commons was built at a time when they wanted to preserve all the large canopy trees. And at the time, the trees didn't really shade the streets that much, but they had planted an entrance drive along Newmark Esplanade of flowering cherry trees, and this enhanced the community and was kind of a signature tree for them. Well, as the large canopy trees shadowed out the cherry trees, they began to fade, and the city came in and replaced with Bradford pears. The Bradford pears grew under the canopy of the large trees, but they grew out over the street and were in risk of collapsing over the street, and so they needed to come out. The tree that they ended up picking, which was rather unique, was the white redbud. Everybody's familiar with the kind of fuchsia color redbuds that flower this time of year. It was a good working relationship. I think the residents are very happy with the trees that they have now. I think the trees will survive a lot longer than if we had gone in and planted some of the other species that require more sun, and so it's a win-win for everybody.
It's not just the trees, though, that keep residents happy in Newmark Commons. It's the sense of community.
We had lived before in the District of Columbia next to Rock Creek Park, so we like living near a forest. There's a strong sense of community. There's a pool, there's tennis courts, there's basketball courts, there's a lot of community action, and these things draw people together. We have people from all over the world in this community, and it's a very tight, very stable community. We're in a global warming situation. Our new president has made a strong commitment to carbon control, and one of the easiest ways to sequester carbon is to plant a tree. It takes in quite a lot of carbon, a mature tree. So we believe that urban forestry is very much the thing of the future, that it gives you benefits both in terms of carbon sequestration, in terms of energy conservation. So we hope that this can become a model for other communities of how an urban forest can work, how it can be managed and maintained. My background's in landscape architecture and environmental planning. Used to work for the county council doing their environmental work, and now I live here and I'm still a tree hugger.